So, you thought the original game was weird? You have not played the sequel.
Seriously?
I have, though. In fact, honestly, to kind of contrast with a lot of people, so I've been told, I've actually had more experience with this one compared to the first one.
Interesting. I don't know too many people that have actually played this one more than the first, but...
Oh! Princess What's-Her-Face.
Oh dear.
Princess What's-Her-Name, I mean.
So... Well, whatever, it's the same principle.
So having been a secondary villain... Okay.
Thank you, Screaming Pink. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Earthworm Jim 2, the Sega Saturn version that not a lot of people actually know about.
So having been a secondary villain in the first game, Psychro is back.
And this time he's taking top billing because the original villain from the first game, Queen Slugfurbutt, well, she went the way of
We blew her up.
Yeah, we blew her up right from the butt on down.
This is a lot more purple than I remember it being.
Oh yeah, so the version I'm playing here is the Sega Saturn version, which, well, again, the 32-bit versions of Earthworm Jim aren't as commonly known as, say, the Super Nintendo or the Sega Genesis version, but they definitely made a fair bit of changes between the two versions, mostly in the backgrounds department, and the soundtrack was changed.
So first off, I can hear Doug TenNapple doing the voice again, but what is the green booger thing?
That's our new friend, Snot. He's basically our aerial support.
Ooh, what hit you there?
And much like the first game, like I said, it gets weird. Like the fact that you literally have to carry a pig all the way to a particular objective.
Like, they spared no expense. In fact, honestly, you can make the argument that this is kind of like James says. You can make the argument that this gets even weirder than the first game.
Hey, we just killed the goldfish guy.
With a pig.
However, after you said that, Loki, he's like, way cool.
Yeah, apparently.
Death to the goldfish.
So what are we... Oh, by the way, we have to use this elevator chair. And dodge old nannies.
Oh god, ow, 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 ow. Sorry, Mary Poppins, I just want to get across.
Also, John's supposed to... There's a lot in this game you just kind of have to, like, just roll with and be like, okay, falling nannies.
Yeah, I mean... Honestly, the weirdness of this game doesn't just apply to, well, the stuff you see within the levels, but the levels themselves, because, like, this is probably the most comparable to the first game this game will ever be. Because, some have made the argument that Earthworm Jim 2, for better or worse, is a lot more gimmicky than the original game. Cue the granny chair.
And if I could just say, I think these splash panels look a little bit less quirky than the ones on the Genesis version.
With the cows.
Well, the cows are still here, but more he's talking about more so the level transitions when Jim's just holding up a sign that gives you the name of the level you're about to go to. And I'll agree with that. For this game, they were primarily just testing the waters of what if we made Earthworm Jim into a CG character. And, well, that's kind of how it went.
What did you do?
I tried to get an extra life, and I fell. It looked like, ow, ooh, ooh, ow.
Well, thankfully,
now we gotta go up the
it's not too hard
frickin'
to
long
get back
wagon.
up to the top.
I can see it's not random. I can see the pattern. You have to follow. Oh gosh, but if you get hit, it is very much brutal and just takes you right back down.
Yeah. And I love the voice clip.
Fresh.
You know, like you're being fresh on her.
Wait. Okay.
There you go.
Who keeps throwing these old ladies down the stairs?
And why do they all look the same?
Anything
but tangerines.
Is there some random evil plot that wants to clone a whole bunch of grannies to take over the world?
I don't know.
Oh, man,
so what is
now go back up, devil damn it.
So what is the theme of this level? Like, you know, the first... Whoa. I mean, the first level was like a big junkyard city, but what's the purpose of this area?
It's just that, as far as I'm concerned, this is if I'm not mistaken, the whole plot behind Earthworm Jim 2 is that you're pretty much going through all the villains' summer homes, and apparently this is the summer home of Bob the Killer Goldfish.
Oh, okay, that's why we just kind of let a pig go after him.
Yep. Well, actually, that's not even. I think that's not even the Killer Goldfish himself. It was just the goldfish that we had to take out. Otherwise. I do believe if you leave him alone, I think it's like he's basically. Oh! What They put an
That's
electric
rude.
chair in this game?
Jeez.
You guys just leave those around?
Only in Earthworm Jim 2, I guess. But yeah, aside from, obviously, as you've noticed, yeah, Snot is pretty much your aerial support. He's mostly for the sake of latching on to these pouches of goo on the ceiling, in a similar manner how you found hooks all over the place in the original game. Which, that being said, I think they've pretty much gotten rid of all the hooks, so the whip is the whip is still in this game, but it's primarily just an offensive maneuver as opposed to just being a means of actually traversing through the levels.
And actually, speaking of offensive maneuvers, something you might have noticed, something that they introduced into this game, different ammunition types.
Yep, you don't just have your dinky little laser or the random
Power
missiles
shot.
from the special edition. Oh,
There he is.
found the boss.
Fight. Finish him. Fight. And
Yep.
That didn't last long.
all right,
Yep.
let's get out of here.
All right.
I was gonna say that's it. I was expecting
Yoink,
a
Santa.
lot more.
Ah.
Thing hurt me? No.
Away.
That's it.
Yep, that's the end of the level.
Yeah.
And these cows are here to congratulate you.
See, the cows congratulate us. Now we're going to Lorenzo's soil. That's a reference to Lorenzo's Oil, which is actually a very interesting, a very good movie. Actually, a very good book
yeah,
that actually it's a good movie, but it's also kind of it's really weird, and I'll talk about why in a little bit. But go ahead, Hype.
But it's like the contrast with that being a good movie. This is kind of a not so good level. As you can see, now you're in this giant antfield, I guess. Your gun's
Ant
replaced
farm.
with this taser gun. You have unlimited ammo, but instead of just shooting things, you're now just tasering bits of the field around you to kind of traverse. That's fine in and of itself. The problem is that if you notice up in the upper right corner, you have a time limit.
And, well, thankfully you don't automatically die when you run out of time. You just take a lot of damage.
You do in the Genesis version.
Wow.
Okay, then that's something they probably fixed for the Saturn version.
So you need to constantly be ascending. Those gas jets that James is trying to jump past, they will not turn off unless you bury them in dirt to allow them to be put out that way. And, well, I mean, granted, I will say it's a very... James, there you go. Granted, it's a very... I'll say it was actually a pretty neat little, like, effect they did where, like, as you shoot the ceiling, the floor will grow with the fallen dirt. That was pretty interesting. That was pretty cool of them to implement those physics, but it's just... This level goes on much longer than it should.
Yeah, it does. And unfortunately, for those wondering, there are certain levels that I did want to show off, but I didn't want to make this look at last too long. So unfortunately, we're not going to see that one level where Jim's now a blind cave salamander.
Yeah, among other levels.
Yeah.
Or easily one of my least favorite levels in the entire game, the Flying King.
Oh, that's also a least favorite of mine.
Aw.
I mean, the idea behind it is fine, it's just that they have a really, really obnoxious gimmick geared behind it.
But yeah, the level itself is
What?
long. Like, bam, we get another 90 seconds. The level. This should have been like a bonus level. This should have been the gimmick to a bonus stage, not an entire 10-minute level.
Yeah.
Honestly, for
But,
my money, I wouldn't have minded this level too much if they got rid of the time limit. Like, honestly, there really is no reason for this to be timed.
Oh jeez.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, again, oh, look at that! Someone's found one of those
Simoleon crystals.
one of those sim crystals, and we're about to blow it up.
Die. Oh no. So if I had to say, okay, so yeah, about Lorenzo's Oil, because random, like, this is the part where this level's gonna go on for a while, so I'll just have a random anecdote. So I was watching Lorenzo's Oil in class. It was a really touching, really interesting story about two parents and their desire to find a cure for something that their son had, and like doctors were not willing to help them in the sense of like they didn't know enough about it, and they weren't willing to try and research it up all the time. So these two parents literally started having to teach themselves medicine just to try and discover the cure for their son's illness themselves.
Wow.
And it's really touching. So the part that like definitely threw me out, was that a baby on that ant? I saw a baby down there.
What's this about a baby? You're crazy.
So oh crap, we have 5 seconds left. Something's coming. 3, 2, 1.
Run.
Ow! Ow! Ow!
Cave in.
So that's what happens.
Too many meatballs.
And
So how
And what luck! There was a full health restore right there.
So how getting a clock prevents that from happening, and how what James is about to do even makes physical sense. James, you gotta go the other way. James, you gotta grapple to the left.
Oh no, wait a minute. Oh no, wait, you actually can't go down this way, my bad. I thought you had to, like, grapple through the other side of the pole, because that makes complete sense.
Because you can do that, and it makes no sense. That is, like, actually you can do that, James, is you grapple, and the animation takes you to the other side of the wall that having
Which
to
is
do
weird,
this.
considering it looks like the pipe is getting in the way.
Right, it should be
Yeah.
solid, but yeah. Anyway, so the part that makes it, so the part that kind of like took me out of Lorenzo's oil just a smidgen is that the kid is played by so the kid who is Lorenzo himself. He has this condition that sometimes leads to him having epileptic shocks. The idea is that it's seizures. Sorry, well, kind of. The way the movie explains it is that whenever water or fluid gets in our throat, we'll just go like that, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But for Lorenzo, in the condition,
Oh, there are the babies.
but but for Lorenzo, he doesn't have that ability to do that. So what ends up happening is he just goes into these. Well, you just shot the baby into space. So what
Only
happens?
Earthworm Jim do you shoot babies.
So what happens?
By the way,
Go
what the
ahead.
hell's that deal with that thing that's been popping up on Twitter lately about this baby character and his family?
Oh, that it start. If you're talking about the kid, like there's some viral video on YouTube where it's supposed to be a children's narration of. It's like some father saying, "Do you have sugar in your mouth?" And it's like, it's honest. Okay, admittedly, it's a pretty catchy tune, but the weird CG and that's hosted on YouTube, it's become viral in the sense of this makes no sense. Anyway, annoying boss time.
There's the
And
bugger.
thankfully the timer's gone.
Ew.
The termite queen on a unicycle.
That just ate me.
Oh, okay. I thought the boss. But
For
now
a
the
sec,
issue.
I thought that was a one-hit kill.
Now the issue is that every time you hit her, she spawns enemies. Every time you hit her.
This boss is honestly, if you're not doing this boss fight a certain way, you're gonna get wrecked pretty bad.
Because they are
Yes,
fast.
you
Anyway, so
are.
okay,
That's
so the
demonstrated
chop,
right
so
here.
ow,
Oh,
my pride. So okay, getting to the actual thing. So Lorenzo the child is played by one actor. So the voice acting for the child in some sequences, in particular when he's having the seizure, is actually that voiceover is actually supplied by the person who did the voice of Tommy Pickles in Rugrats.
really?
Luigi
Elizabeth
Deal.
Yes.
Taylor? Really?
Yes.
Wow.
So when
Oh,
Lorenzo's having
anyway.
these seizures, you can very clearly hear Tommy's like screams and
Oops.
Oh,
Taxi!
you can very clearly hear Tommy Pickles' like scream and like cries.
Oh yeah,
thank you.
you know,
And it just kind of like throws me off. It's like, oh geez. Anyway,
And now we'll be ending off
This
our look at with Puppy Love. Or at least a
this
sneak peek of it.
level sucks.
Yeah, this pretty much takes the place of the Andy Asteroids level from the first game. In this case, you actually have to protect Peter Puppy's relatives from the maniacal Psycho who just tosses them out the fucking window.
Well, a classical
Look at the
tune.
little puppies. Aren't they adorable, sis?
No.
what?
The puppies, aren't they adorable?
No.
Oh, but if you miss one,
If
if
you
you
miss too
miss-
many of them, then Peter gets pissed.
Ooh.
and Peter has an anger problem,
Yeah, putting it lightly there.
if you recall from the first game.
Yeah, assuming you got that far into the game in the first
What
place.
the hell is that?
That's
Concept
continue.
art or something. Or continue.
But also it should be said, I'm convinced with this minigame that they took inspiration from the Game & Watch, because do you guys remember like that one minigame where Mario and Luigi were using a trampoline to help the Toads and whatever jump off of the burning castle?
Yes.
I mean,
Like
granted,
Fire.
okay, that version of Fire was released after this game, but same similar principle. And oh god,
Bombs. The bombs are important. If you
Okay.
get those, if you get those down there, Peter will pick up the bomb because oh my god, it's in the same room as the puppies, and he'll throw it back at Psycho, and that'll damage him.
yeah,
Which
which
is
is
how you can
something
beat
I
this.
honestly forgot about when I came back to play this.
Which is how you can actually beat this thing. Otherwise, it takes forever. Oh.
Oops.
I'm not gonna
We're
lie, I
about to
still
see
wince
the
every
end.
time I see those little babies do
Uh,
that.
And
Oops.
Peter's tech now.
But not before I launch a bomb in there.
Oh boy!
Oh
Ooh. That's what happens.
But
At
now
the same
Peter's
time-
mad.
Now he's pissed.
no!
And we're dead. For reals this time.
Doop.
Yep, that just happened.
That's such a disturbing death screen.
Yes, it is. And that's a very nice way to end off our look at on Earthworm Jim 2 for the Sega Saturn. Again, this is one of those games where it's pretty easy to find if you have like the Wii Virtual Console, but otherwise, like, yeah, it's definitely, well.
Now,
yeah.
you know what throws me off? The
What?
fact that there was a game also named Earthworm Jim before the Game Boy, which is completely different and not at all related to this.
You're not talking about the one for the regular Game Boy, are you?
Yes, that one.
I haven't really played that one all that much, but I mean, Jim did have a few more games after this. Maybe we'll show them off, but they're not on our top priority right now. But
Yeah.
until then, I'm JamesmanXtreme.
Lucky Jack 20.
Hey, I'm Princess Lita.
And I'm Professor Monkey for a head.
Oh God, monkey for a head, run!
Truly an underrated villain. Take care.
Bye bye.
Ook eek.